Good morning. Good morning from Altadena, California. It's a nice sunny day today, which is good because last couple of days we've had some rather heavy wind. Didn't even know if I was going to have internet this morning because there is a broken tree branch behind the house, not in our backyard, but diagonally across behind us. And that's basically broken branches sitting on our phone line, our internet line. So if I disappear midstream, it's because that line has finally come down because there's a rather heavy branch. I mean, it's literally the that's how the wire looks right now. So yeah, it's been a fun couple of days. Friday night was pretty noisy up around here. We've got so many people out with power, no power, trees down, trees get through buildings, on cars. It's really quite crazy. But I'm here. We got lucky. I think the only time we've really been sort of like hit hard was the first storm we had here, which was in 2011, December 2011. In fact, it was my birthday week. I was, we lost power for 5 days. So, Mother Nature, she's pissed at us, and I don't fricking blame her. So, what's been going on this week? What's been going on in the world of video games? Well, obviously not much. I can't think of anything, can you? Oh, that's right. Microsoft has opened the piggy bank. Their continued acquisition of anything that moves is quite impressive. Obviously, you'd have to be living under a rock if you didn't know that they'd made a bid and had it accepted to acquire Activision Blizzard this week for almost $70 billion, which is a lot of cheddar, a lot of cheese, a lot of change. I mean, it basically, ironically, if they get this passed through the regulators, and there's no guarantee that they will, it'll only make them the third biggest video game publisher in the world, behind Tencent and Sony. So it's interesting because, I mean, Tencent isn't traditionally known for video games, but they've got so many fingers in so many pies, and that shit's allowed, apparently. And then you got Sony with obviously PlayStation dominating. And now Microsoft will be, an Xbox, the Xbox brand would be number 3 with this acquisition. And people asking my thoughts on this. And I got to say, my first thought was fucking great. And I'll tell you why. I think there are a number of reasons. First of all, from the purely gaming perspective, there's a lot of games that Activision have let rot in their, let's say, lazy game development schedule. And it's not down to the developers, it's down to upper management and the fact that they have just said, well, as long as we're doing a Call of Duty every fucking year, it doesn't really matter, does it? And they have left so many games to rot, not just Activision games, Blizzard games, Vivendi games. There's a bunch of Vivendi titles that Activision had the rights for when the so-called merger happened. And those games should see the light of day again, which is only good news for the gamer. That's the thing. Microsoft have bought this not just for Call of Duty, not just for World of Warcraft. They are buying Activision Blizzard for that huge back catalog of all those games. Do we dare hope for some of these amazing games? Let's see, Biker Mice from Mars. Wasn't that an Activision? Or was it Rock and Roll Racing? Was a Blizzard game, wasn't it? One of the two. But anyway, I mean, there are just so many games. Obviously, we're looking at Warcraft, we're looking at StarCraft. We know Diablo 4 is coming eventually. We know that World of Warcraft will continue to churn out. Who knows? We may actually see things move to WoW 2 now, especially as this is Microsoft acquiring for the metaverse. So yes, it's a very interesting and exciting acquisition from the gamer perspective, in that we will get to see a lot more games. Tony Hawk, we'll get to see some more Tony Hawk, which is good. There's a lot of games, and hopefully this will serve as an example to the likes of EA, who are sitting on vast back catalogs of titles that they are just neglecting because they're only doing X, Y, and Z per year, which is all the sports games, the occasional Star Wars game, and that's really it. I mean, it would be lovely to see them revisit some of the core games, and if Microsoft can make a success out of this Activision Blizzard back catalog, then we're all in for a fun for a few years, because I think it will inspire a lot of other developers to go back. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to say to good morning to the Einchecker, sub-level 28, Sundancer GE, Mark Griffiths, Mark Simpson, 89 Real Talk, Melchior 1. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Bore da, as we say in Wales, but as you are, you are probably in Europe, we say pronounder, which is afternoon. Good afternoon. Mabek is in the house. Good. Everybody's here. This is fantastic. So let's talk about the other aspect, and this is the double-edged sword aspect. First of all, this is me doing my happy dance, because you know what this one means? You know what this acquisition means? That the clock is ticking, motherfuckers. The clock is ticking. We're looking at maybe a year from now, when this acquisition goes through, we get to say, oh, bye-bye, Bobby. Fuck off, Kotick. That's right. The man who has been gaming's public enemy number one, in my eyes, over the last 15 years, will be finally shuffled off into the sunset, where he can go to his douchebag home and hang out with his douchebag friends. I don't like the guy. He's a piece of shit. He's a rich piece of shit, the worst kind. The fact that he's going to make about 350 million off this is abhorrent. I really hope the California Labor Board, who are suing Activision Blizzard, continue to go after the primary offenders, which is those people in the boardrooms who have let people like Kotick, who have absolutely, it's proven that they knew about this bullshit that was going on and they condoned it. They let it run rampant. Go after them. And I hope they tax him into the middle of next week as well. Because let's face it, he's a fucking piece of shit. I have like I said, my hatred for him goes back to Invisible Walls days, early Invisible Walls days, and I still can't stand the piece of crap. So yes, the fact that he will be out will be great. Hopefully he will never darken video games door again. Hopefully he will be fined to within an inch of his life and told to fuck off. So I mean, I found it interesting that I read a piece this week that said that initially he wanted to hold out for more money. He wanted to see if somebody else would come in and buy it, apparently to let him stay in charge. And nobody in the boardroom backed him because he's lost all faith. So he has to accept this. And then, of course, there was the big all hands meeting, the company meeting that was on Zoom that he did with the Activision Blizzard staff this week to go through everything, that he turned up for, I think, 15 minutes late and left 15 minutes early. I mean, he literally turned up, answered a few preempted questions that were so curated by HR and corporate PR that it was nothing. There was no real info. So let's not forget, people, Activision Blizzard is still run by a bunch of shitheads. It's still run. I'm not talking about the day-to-day people. I'm not talking about the programmers, the artists. I'm not talking about the QA people. I mean, like those amazing people at Raven who were doing the QA were encouraged to move, to relocate, to continue their jobs, and then all let go. Those are the backbone of the video game industry. I'm talking about the parasites, the upper management, direct, board members, CEOs, CFOs, otherwise known as the conglomeration of cunts. These are the people who are a cancer, not only in video games, they're a cancer in life. These are the fuckers who are the 1% who want to keep all the money for themselves while cutting everybody else off. And these are the people who, had this been revolutionary France, they'd be in the guillotine. They'd be up against the wall come the revolution. Because these are the people who are parasites who take, and don't pump any money back. And every company has them. But more so Activision, Blizzard, and a bunch of the other top companies. These are all wankers. There's a Kevin Smith movie called Dogma. And I'm sure you can find it. I don't think you can find it on streaming right now because a part of the Miramax, debacle after, Harvey Weinstein was outed of being a, rapist bastard. I think he's kind of fell into some nebulous who owns the rights hell. But there is a scene where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, who are playing Bartleby and is it Azrael? I think so. But anyway, they're playing two angels. And they go to the Mubi chain, which is the fictional fast food chain that Kevin Smith's created for his View Askewverse. And they go to corporate headquarters because it's literally the golden cow. That is the golden cow, which goes against the, the whole, the message in the Bible. And they go into the boardroom and they start to go through all these people and see how, and they know all their secrets. And they go through every single aspect. And it's meant to be a little, a lot of satire, over the top. But there's so much truth in that the boardroom scene. I encourage you to go see it. I encourage you to go see it in that it just goes to show that power and money corrupts. It really does. And those who have money and come from money, who keep their money, are some of the most corrupt fuckers on the planet. They don't pay their way. They dodge their taxes. And that's what Bobby Kotick is. And that's what his ilk is. And that's the sort of people we need to drum out of society. But so, yeah. Loki is Matt Damon. Yeah. Mark Simpson says Bobby Kotick Kotick cannot be an attractive proposition for the Microsoft meme counters. Of course he's not. He's not going to be an attractive. He's a liability, which is, he's been a liability for the longest time. Only people have just, the money's come in, ethics and morals go out the window. Money comes in. We'll just grind teams into dust, keep on mistreating them and churning out the same fucking crap every year because, innovation is not our friend. And, we're just going to do this. This is what we call a cash cow. And, this is Call of Duty. We have to do it every year to keep the sheep going because, we really can't stand gamers. We're just giving this mediocre crap over and over and over. And I have the latest Call of Duty. I got given a code by somebody who works there, who is not one of the wankers, obviously, who actually works his ass off for a living. And I played it. And then I uninstalled it. Because it's the same mediocre shit shooter that it was a decade ago. Nothing's changed. At least with the Lego games, the fact that their gameplay doesn't change, it's because you're dealing with Legos, not much you could fucking do. But Call of Duty is just a joke. Sorry, water. So yes, he will not be welcome at Microsoft. They would not want him there. It would be an absolute disaster if he stayed on board, but he won't. He will be gone. He will have his golden parachute. I just hope his golden parachute catches fire and he plummets to his doom in hell, where there's a special spice rack of death waiting and torture waiting for the man. I really can't stand him. I'm sorry. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. So yes, those are my thoughts so far. There are positives. Do I think would I like to see perhaps Activision without Bobby Kotick? Well, there's so many people you have to take out the equation, and Activision and Blizzard do need a kick up their ass. Blizzard for the longest time has been the untouchable. Even when I worked at Vivendi, they were the untouchable golden child. They did things in their own way, and for a while it was successful. But They remember StarCraft Ghost. They pumped so much money into that and then canceled it after delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. And they were allowed to get away with so much. Oh, we don't do E3. We're Blizzard. Hopefully, Microsoft will treat them with the respect they deserve, but also put a boot up that particular culture's ass. To be honest with you, and then Activision will be encouraged to do more Call of Duty. Hey, maybe we will finally go to see Call of Duty move to 2 years, every 2 years. Maybe we will see new exciting IPs come out from Activision. With regards to how Microsoft have handled other acquisitions, you look at Bethesda and what they've done. I think Bethesda is still, doing their games their way. I've not heard any different, and I've done some work, and I'm lucky enough to have some really good friends at Bethesda, and everything seems to be going okay over there, which is an encouraging sign. May not last, who knows? But the fact that Microsoft have come out and said that they've already spoken to Sony, and they have, Call of Duty will continue to be on Sony, because they need the PlayStation to be a strong console. It just gives another idea of where Sony and Microsoft are sort of like diverging. The PlayStation, as we've discussed before, and I've got my PlayStation 5 there, and I'm so glad I got it, because I am having a lot of fun with it. It's giving me access to games I wouldn't normally have access to, and it's a beautiful piece of kit. And that's the PlayStation is the Sundance Channel. It's IFC. It's the Criterion Collection when it comes to games. I mean, there are big games and there are small games, but they're unique games. There are X amount come out every year that are system sellers just for this one. Microsoft is more Netflix, HBO Max. I think I've said this before. Microsoft have a lot of stuff dropping on PC Games Pass, on Xbox Games Pass, and it's a lot of good stuff. One I will actually tell you about right now. In fact, I'll use this as an example. Bear with me 1 second. I just can't remember the name of it. It's got a funny name. Okay, it's called Nobody Saves the World. So this game, Nobody Saves the World, dropped on Xbox Games Pass or PC Games Pass, and I was like, oh, looks interesting, a little old school RPG type thing, started playing it. I haven't been able to put it down for the last couple of days. I've played it quite a lot, and it's a little bit of slow going, but there's a lot of grind in there, but it's really fun. And the whole concept is that you are this character called Nobody, and you can switch up as you progress through the games. You can learn different forms. You can evolve your body into an archer, into a knight, into an egg that you have to hatch out of the egg for a unknown form that appears later. You play as a slug, you can play as a rat, bodybuilder, magician. I mean, there's a whole bunch of these things. And then once you get them all unlocked and you get all their different levels up by doing their individual quests, you can then mix and match the powers to create these, to support your gameplay style, but also just have the best. So, I mean, for example, there is a donkey. You can play as a donkey or a horse that has a killer kick, and you can add that kick to maybe your rat, along with the poison chomping that the rat has, and give it some poison as well. And there's just lots of different things where some have hardest armors and stuff like that. And I gotta say, that's what Sony seems to be lacking right now. That's what the beauty of Games Pass, and we know we've got Spartacus coming, and I'm looking forward to seeing Spartacus. But this game came out and I gave it a chance. And like I said, I haven't been able to put it down. So if you have Xbox Games Pass, give it a download. Play it on PC too. It's not a system hog. It's it's an 8-bit kind of game. Somebody said it's a more lively version of Zelda. And I can see that. I mean, the irony is that I can't stand the Zelda games. No, I can't stand. They just leave me cold. This one, however, is so much fun because you've got the different forms for solving different puzzles. Some things you can only access in your certain form. Some things you can access in another form. Challenges. Only certain characters can only be attacked if you have, say, a sharp poison or a stomp capability. So all that mixing and matching. So yeah, nobody saves the world. You should definitely. Sorry, I'm just blocking a couple of idiots from Russia, some Russian bots. Fuck off. Yeah, so I mean, that is just a fun game. And that's the sort of game that we get on Games Pass, and all these games are dropping. And that's why I love Games Pass. And I think Sony isn't really committed to that side of it, and that's fine. They can go their own way. But you can see with Microsoft, wouldn't it be great if some of that old Activision and Blizzard catalogs were repurposed and started to get dropped onto Games Pass? Microsoft they're moving us towards a non-console future. They're moving us to a one of these on a smart TV with streaming capabilities and some software. And you get access to these games. My Sony Bravia, well, not perhaps my Sony Bravia will have the PlayStation version of Spartacus, but it will be my Amazon Fire Stick or my Roku box or whatever it is that you have down the line. The smart TV will have access to the internet, and you will have this, and you will have capabilities to stream a game directly in over Games Pass. And there'll still be space for the console. I think Nintendo will continue to do their thing with the Switch and make them portable, and they'll dominate that market. And then Sony will have, their niche. I mean, if Sony actually, gets their act together with Spartacus and puts that on smart TVs and does the same thing as Games Pass, that does change things a little. But they don't have perhaps that content anymore. They don't, they're losing Bethesda. They're maybe losing Activision for, eventually. But it would be great if you don't have to shell out $500 for a console. All you have to do is pay a subscription. The world of gaming is just going to go bananas. You've got this great big screen, 8K, ultra OLED or whatever. And you got your hardwired or your kick-ass Wi-Fi, and you've got, that's right, which controller do I have? All right, so I have my controllers, and I'm going to use the Xbox one today, and I'm going to play the Xbox software. But later on, I'm just going to switch to PlayStation, and it's a simple case of closing out one app and opening another. And that puts them onto PC too, and it puts them onto Mac. And that's the future of games. I couldn't see for the longest time a future without a console. But now I welcome it. I think it's going to be amazing. It's just going to move games even more central into our lives. Microsoft tried to do it with Xbox One and Kinect. Lovely idea, horrible execution. But this is what we're looking at. This is the next level. And then we're talking about the metaverse as well, where everybody's got their own virtual real estate, and everybody will put the VR goggles on and jump in and play games and wander through a virtual Starbucks and order at Starbucks and come to your door, and all this stuff that we've seen, the Ready Player One syndrome that we've been all aching for the last decade. There's still that I can't see happening for at least another 20 years. But of course, everybody's spaffing their money, $3.5 million to buy a plot of land next to Snoop Dogg in the metaverse. You know how you get rid of the metaverse? You start unplugging some things. Oh, but it's in the cloud. But the cloud is still somewhere. There's a machine that needs to be unplugged. And all of a sudden it's gone. And this artificial scarcity, like NFTs. It's like, oh, you can only have one of these. No, you fucking can't. You can make more. I'm going to do a metaverse on my machine. And here it is. And I'm going to let people in. So anyway, Jack Hammerstein was in the house. Nice to see you. RP Genius is here. Raypad, Drinkbox Studios. That's right. Drinkbox Studios does Nobody Saves the World. I thoroughly recommend it. Just give it a go. It's a lovely, fun game. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just. I stayed in bed till about 10 this morning. I took advantage of the fact that I don't have to be up and on the road to the hospital by 5 to 9 every morning, which is what my thing is 5 days a week now, obviously for the radiation treatment. And so today I just lay in bed a little bit more, caught up on my sport. I didn't even watch the Liverpool game. I was so tired after yesterday. But I know we won. And I know that, we have the faintest of outside chances of maybe catching Manchester City. But we're in the cup final, the League Cup final. Works. Oh, okay. So, all right, let's have a look. So, some people, let's see, can streaming games really succeed when internet access worldwide can't provide the required speeds and capacity? Gaming for the rich only acceptable. Good point. Now then, let's just say this is how the internet has evolved with me over the last decade alone. Now, we have gone from initially having AT&T shitty-ass dial-up to AT&T shitty broadband. That was horrible. Disconnects. We switched to Spectrum. Not much better, but started to get better. Now, we have the internet that we need. We have the internet that we do, we use for our business, and for obviously then for this. And yes, we pay a certain amount of money for it. There are politicians who do see that access needs to be for everybody. For example, I think in the UK, there are a lot of counties where there's really good broadband. I mean, my parents in Wales, in their little village 9 miles outside Swansea, they had better internet than me a decade ago. Now it's flipped a little, but they pay less than me. And there are countries that are doing that, and there are people who are doing that and are committed to that. And that has to be the case for everybody. I think the problem is not how good your access is what people do with it as well. Because obviously there are some clowns on this planet who don't deserve access to the internet. And that's a whole different kettle of fish. But yes, it would be great if we had broadband blanketing the country and it was free of charge. As I've said here, we cut the cable. We don't have a satellite box or a satellite dish or a cable box or anything like that here anymore. We stream everything in, and we're constantly evaluating what streams we pay for. For example, the likes, when the soccer season is over, I always put YouTube TV on pause because everything we get from Hulu the following day. So we don't miss any shows, but I can't miss my footy except when I sleep in, and not every game is on Peacock. So that's predominantly our big one. And we swap that out. But we've been looking at Netflix. We've been going through some of their stuff recently, wondering if we need to scale back on that one. But I think games is, Sony and Microsoft in particular are going to carve out niches for themselves. I think Sony, like I said, because they have all access to these TVs, they have an in, and they just have to be smart about it. And I'm sure they are. I'm sure I will get a notification from my big ass Sony Bravia TV saying, "Hi, Annoyed Gamer. Why do you want to connect your Sony Bravia TV to your PlayStation Plus account and start streaming all these great games from your big ass fucking TV without a console?" And I'll go, "Okay then," and I'll start playing. So, Windswept Dragon, good evening. How are you? Malbec says, Malbec, I keep on thinking of a glass of wine. Game Pass only, however, does support Xbox gamepads. Well, on PC, any USB gamepad works. Or controller. I mean, I've used my PlayStation ones to play those games. Any USB one works. All right. So, Yes, God, we chatted about a bunch of stuff halfway through the scheduled hour already. So, any more questions? What else are we talking about? What else is going on in the world? What else have I been doing this? Oh, back sore. But I'm standing. I'm standing, which is good. I'm drinking. I'm about to have some more of my breakfast because it's late. D-Night Walker in the house. Sony bought OnLive a few years ago, so maybe they're getting ready for what you're talking about. Exactly. OnLive was ahead of its time, and I still have, and I probably told you this, I actually have somewhere the OnLive first kits that they sent out, all snugly wrapped away, pristine condition, because they were so easy to deal with, those people. They had such a great idea. The system wasn't set up for it. They give out these boxes to everybody. And I mean, what they're doing, what they did then is what Microsoft are doing now. And that's the future, minus that box, because of the advent of smart TVs. Mark Simpson continues to make a good point. I mean, let's face it, the internet should be looked at like an essential. Human rights, a roof over your head, food, the ability to stay warm or cool, depending on where you are, and access to information. And the internet should come into that basic human rights package that people who don't have access to it are missing out in a lot of ways, because I think that is changing. More people have smartphones. I think it's older generations that are starting to die out or pass on, who haven't really adapted to what smartphones can do. I mean, obviously there are parts of the world without internet and cell signals, and sometimes I totally envy them, because those are the days when I'm browsing through Twitter and I just go, oh, no, why did I go down this rabbit hole? Because look, all is not warm and fuzzy. There is our little bubbles. My Facebook is my curated bubble. So I rarely see bullshit in my Facebook, but it is people who do think the same as me in a lot of ways, leaning more liberal, allies, if you will, and we try to just be decent people. And then there's the other different pockets around the world and in different sections of the internet who have different beliefs. Some of them down to misinformation and indoctrination, and some of them just because they're miserable, racist fucking wankers. But yes, everybody should have access to the internet. Okay. I said scheduled, like a scheduled. I don't know. Look, Ray, I have been here for 22 and a half years. I've been here 20. I've actually spent more of my adult life in America than I did in the UK. I left the UK at 29. I'm now 51. So, there's a reason I keep on upping that green card. I'm good for another 10 years. I actually should if I last long enough to re-up my green card one more time, that will be a moral victory, okay? Because that'll be pretty amazing. So, yes, what else you got? What else we got? What else have we talked about this week? Well, what else has happened this week? I mean, we're coming into February. There's a lot of big things coming. Oh, I mean, we can talk about Book of Boba Fett. That's continuing on, and it's continuing to underwhelm me, to be honest with you. I really like the memories in the back to tank and the dreams and that sort of stuff. It's the modern day stuff for him that just kind of leaves me a little cold. What else is me and the lady? We finally started Ozark last night. I know we're about 4 years late to this particular party, but that's quite interesting. I know the final season's going on. Wife's watching Yellow Jackets. I started watching it, give it 2 episodes. Not for me. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what else is. It's really bizarre how this. I mean, we're 23 days into January, and I have spent 13 13, 14, 15 days of this month already in hospital, getting radiation treatment. And it's just, I mean, it's so difficult to try and, just remember exactly what's going on, because that's all we're doing is, I'll go down, get my radiation, come home, stay here all day. Don't really go out. If we go out and get a cup of coffee, or we go out and do some window shopping, but with Omicron hopefully on the slide, but still going on, we've just been in isolation. So we haven't seen anybody really since December 20th, 22nd. And it just means that things are blurring a little bit all into one. And it's Shauna I feel sorry for, but hopefully things are getting better where she gets to go out and see some friends. But yeah, I can't really remember much about this week. I don't even know what we've watched. I mean, obviously it was Martin Luther King Day on Monday, and I did the stream on Monday, and that was fun to do. But yeah, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I started playing that Nobody Saves the World game. Really loved that. I've been fiddling around with my Stream Deck, trying to get that working and figure out what's what. So yes. What do you got for me? Give me questions. What's going on? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up and we'll all have some fun and go off and enjoy our Sunday afternoons, mornings, evenings, whatever. Yeah, Sublevel 28 saying here to the UK pulling the PS Now cards from the stores this week. Yeah, this is I talked about this I think on Monday. I've heard that PS Now is going to go bye-bye, which I think is really freaking ironic, since I just upped for a year of PlayStation Now so I can play Infamous 1 and 2. So yeah, I mean, they're obviously going to merge it. I just want to make sure, that my account gets transitioned over. But it makes sense. PlayStation Plus, make it PC make it PC accessible too, and then everything will be cushy. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're going to have to hurry up. It looks like there's no E3 this year. And Ray, you can tell me about this one. You can confirm this one for me. But I think E3's already gone to virtual only. I think that's probably the end of E3. RP Genius says, when it comes on Supercell, who knows? All right, Mark Simpson. Here's a left field question. I saw Valentine's Day stuff in the supermarket today. Are you going to spoil the missus this year, or are you going to introduce her to your public on a live stream? So we actually don't do Valentine's Day. We never have. I mean, we'll do some silly cards to each other, or we'll maybe cook a dinner at home, but we've never done anything crazy. I think the last time we did gifts to each other was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, because we just buy each other little knickknacks as the year goes through, and we do little impromptu things. I think let's see. This was one of the last Valentine's gifts she got me a few years ago. It was the entire Funko Ghostbusters set, so I've got them all here. And that's great. And, I think it's, we'll probably just do dinner. We'll probably cook each other a nice dinner and have a nice bottle of wine. I mean, it's one of those things that we're very lucky we've got each other. We've got through the pandemic and we've been locked down together for the best part of 2 years. And we've gone through so many things, like, and now this cancer thing. So yeah, I don't think we need that one day. And I think she's in appreciation of that as well. She agrees, especially as she works in the food industry. And she just says, I don't want to go to a fucking restaurant on Valentine's Day. I'd rather stay home, put the money towards a really good cut of meat, and we'll make a good supper together. But I will be spoiling her for her birthday, which is the beginning of March. We're going to go away for a week. A good friend is loaning us their beach house, which is going to be amazing. So that's going to be a weekend, second week of March. I think I will be offline completely because she deserves a break after everything that she's been through. I'm surprised she hasn't got PTSD. Let me see. Malbec wine. That's right. Malbec wine. Malbec. I think because I like wine. A lot of people are saying Guardians of the Galaxy is a great game. Yeah, that's all well and good. I really disliked Avengers, and I just don't. There's lots of other good games. Maybe when it comes on super cheap, I'll give it a try. But there's enough great games right now that I have access to that I'm enjoying playing without going to Guardians. And Guardians just, even read the way it's been described to me, it just leaves me cold. Leaves me cold. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people have said that they hated Avengers and liked it. So look, and that's great. I just, maybe one day, but not yet. Not while it's full price. Maybe when it comes down to $9.99 sometime. Steam sale or an Epic sale. All right. Oh, my back. What else are you looking forward to? What's coming out? I am so looking forward to Dying Light 2, which is next month, finally. God, that game's been in development forever. I hope, all 500 hours of it. I'm looking forward to trying that. I hope it's eminently less motion sick than inducing than the first one. That is the only game that's given me motion sickness. I remember going to see it at E3 one year. I was at Game Trailers at the time. And I sat in their room and I watched the presentation, and then I sat in front of a PC and they give me the headphones and they're like, oh, so this is how you do it. And I'm watching it and I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna throw up. And I had to actually step away from the demo because of the bobbing and the weaving with the parkour as you were going. I was like, no more. Horizon Zero Dawn West. Yes, that one can go on the list because I have the PS5. I might just get that one because I really loved Horizon Zero Dawn. It would be nice to revisit that world again. Valid observation from RP Genius. Waiting for reviews on Dying Light 2 as it's been delayed so much. I'm afraid it'll be a Cyberpunk. For me, if it's as good as Cyberpunk, I'll be happy. Because obviously, yes, Cyberpunk was glitchy, but it's still one of my favorite games of the year, of all time, and I love it. And hopefully we'll get some Cyberpunk content this year. You know what's interesting? One of the things I did over the holiday season was go back into Assassin's Creed Valhalla and update everything and download everything and see what DLC had become available and made sure everything was up to speed. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try the game again from the beginning. Because, I'd put like 120 hours, whatever it was, into it. But I'm going to go back and start from the beginning, see what else I'd done differently, see what I've missed out on the first time round. And I played it for 3 or 4 hours. And then I was like, you know what? I'm done with that game. I'm done with Assassin's Creed, I think, for a while. Much like Far Cry, the most recent one. Played it for an hour, didn't like it, got my refund, stepped back. And I think this is the problem that we've obviously been discussing over the past couple of years with Ubisoft in particular. Their games have gone from being these epics that you can enjoy and really immerse yourself in to chores. They've lost their sparkle. They've lost their luster. I would still take Far Cry 5 over Far Cry 6. I would still, honestly, I'd take maybe AC, was it Brotherhood? That's probably still one of my favorite ones. What was the other one? The one set in London. That is still one of my favorite ones with the Jack the Ripper content and everything. I mean, that was so interesting to me. I can play it on my PS5 if I want. It looks jaggedy as fuck because it's not optimized. But yeah, Ubisoft. What's happened to Ubisoft? Might they be acquired at some point? Would anybody want to? Have they played themselves out? Are they dull and done and dusted? They don't inspire excitement in me anymore for their releases, which is a sad thing. And I've seen this happen with games companies over the years. Konami was another one where I went from being so excited for the Konami presses at E3, what are they doing, what's being released, blah, 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 to just seeing the same stuff trotted out over and over and watching Pro Evo Soccer descend into this horrible morass of a game. And then seeing them, oh, well, we've got a Metal Gear game and that's it, or this. I mean, it's like the same thing over and over and over. And Ubisoft are going that same way for me. I mean, they are not inspiring any excitement in me anymore. I'm interested to see who's not inspiring excitement in you anymore. I mean, people who, developers who have been around for a long, long time. Yeah, I'd be curious. So the other thing I read this week or last week, sorry, just popped into my head because I'm looking over here and I'm like looking at these games and I was like, what catches my eye? And I just see this one, which is obviously one of my favorite games. I mean, I preferred the Stick of Truth. I thought the Stick of Truth was eminently more funny, but Fractured But Whole is one, especially with the DLC, that has actually grown on me. But I saw there's a new South Park game in development, and that's really cool. And it's not Ubisoft, because again, I looked at it, I was like, oh, Ubisoft. Oh. But it's not Ubisoft now, so they obviously don't have the license. So South Park Digital Studios have partnered with a new company. And from what I understand is the new company is made up of a bunch of people who are ex-Obsidian, who I think did the Stick of Truth. And they're looking at multiplayer aspects. So if we get an end to the Stick of Truth trilogy, not this year, maybe next year, how cool is that? I mean, I'm not sure if you played it. If you get the chance to pick it up for free or pick it up on a reduced sale somewhere, I absolutely recommend you should. And the two games, I mean, they're the same, but they're different. They do continue on, but there's especially in the core gameplay style. They're both turn-based, but a lot of the combat's moved. They tweaked the combat between 1 and 2. So if you play it back to back, it can be quite jarring, but they're still great games, especially with all the DLC. And I heartily recommend both games if you can get hold of them. But yeah, the idea of a third South Park game would be, just to finish off that trilogy. That would be pretty lovely. And it'd be interesting because, I mean, obviously South Park is with the pandemic, they've switched up to doing more special stuff right now. We had the Thanksgiving special and the Christmas special here in the US. I'm not sure if it dropped where it dropped and with everybody else, but excuse me, with Paramount Plus, which is Viacom, which is Comedy Central. But they were really, really cool, fun little alternate universe twists on South Park. And I just have a lot of respect for Matt Stone and Trey Parker as storytellers. I think they're really, really good. I mean, they're my age, and they haven't lost their edge. They find continued ways to be smart and satirical and subversive and very predictive of a lot of things. I mean, between The Simpsons and South Park calling things over the years, I think it's been quite prophetic. So yeah, that's exciting for me. That's something I'm looking forward to. Let's see. There you go. RP Genius says a new Splinter Cell. Yes, who wouldn't like to see Sam Fisher back? Mark Simpson says again, Ubisoft is so deep in their own crisis, they need to be bought out and cleaned up. Exactly. I mean, that might be, again, that fresh direction. Ubisoft's problem for me has always been, and they did hit a purple patch where they were producing such excellent stuff consistently before they fell into the Activision trap of, we're really too scared to do anything new. It's the same trap EA is in, to be honest with you. But when I worked at Ubisoft, they were too French for their own good. Everybody who's a middle management or above was French. Even if they weren't qualified, They basically looked at your resume. Are you French? You're in. We'll put you in marketing. We'll put you overseeing development. We'll do this, that, and the other. And it made for a really, if you're somebody like me who doesn't suffer fools gladly, yeah, that's the reason I only lasted a year at Ubisoft. And I made some good friends there, but there were also a lot of people who were just not qualified. They were yes men, or they were yes women, yes people, yes persons, if you will. Knew how to spout the buzzwords, knew fuck all about games, and yeah, maybe I should write a book. Okay. Dear Russian bots, don't fucking bother on this one. Come on. And you're all coming out of YouTube. Why the fuck do you even bother? I mean, here's a controversial thought. Wouldn't it be great if they detonated an EMP above Russia and took out all the fucking bots? Just saying. And that's a joke, because obviously there are so many lovely Russian people out there who don't deserve any of the fucking bullshit that their leaders are pulling onto them. It's the same everywhere. There are so many good people in this world, and it's just the scum is elevating to the top. Fuck Putin. Oh, all right. What else you got for me, people, as we start to wind down? Again, apologies for the, I start off quite strong. And, again, I'm standing again today, which is good because my feet are much better, but my energy levels are not what they were because, again, I've not been able to work out while doing the radiation because of what it does to my immune system and Omicron. And I'm glad I stopped working out because my poor personal trainer, who is a wonderful girl, wonderful lady, and she caught COVID, and yeah, I'm just glad I was well out of it to avoid that. Thankfully, she's okay now, which is good. But yeah, I'm trying to stay away from this. Let's see. Anything else? Yes, we're all getting older, Sundancer. We're all getting older. Oh, things are aching. Although I am excited. We've the wife and I have decided that we are going. We talked about moving. I think I discussed this with you guys for a while. We discussed moving to the East Coast because we wanted to change up one last big adventure, and the idea was that moving to the East Coast would make it a little bit easier to get to the UK. Flights would be quicker, to see my family pre-COVID, and then other C word, which has become hopefully not my last great adventure, but it certainly is a fucking misadventure. So we've had to put that all on hold because between, like I said, the heart attacks and everything else, my cardiologist here, my cancer team are here, and they're just some of the best in the world. So I'm not going to move away from them. So we've decided that we're going to renovate the house. You won't see much change to the games room because all I'm doing here is probably painting the ceiling and maybe painting the walls. But we are going to renovate the house and the backyard and do some really nice things that will probably take about a year, 18 months. But we're very excited about doing that because we're going to turn it into our own personal little happy Shangri-La. And it's nice to have a project to focus on them. So yes, you'll see updates on that on my Twitter feed, on Instagram, and everything else as the days move forward. But it will mean at some point we'd have to leave the house and go stay in a hotel because there will be stuff being done. But yeah, that's exciting. That's one of the benefits of home ownership, and especially when you get to our age. And you can't really go on vacation anymore because of COVID and, God knows what else. But that's exciting. Just want to share that. God, I really am old. I'm talking about fucking home ownership and fucking renovations. Raypad can come out and hang out in our new Shangri-La. make a live stream painting the games room. I will not be painting the games room, and I will not be leaving my machines to do on when there's going to be paint dripping everywhere. Thank you very much. I got too many good toys and everything. This all gets carefully packed away, broken down, packed away, put nice and safe, and then brought out again. Maybe I will have some more wall mountings, maybe to have perhaps mount TVs on the cameras and this, that, and the other. But yes, this room maybe even get a little sparser because we'll have some more storage to move stuff to. Maybe I'll swap some stuff out. But yeah, this room has served me well. It serves me well. All right, my good people. Don't get old, it'll kill you. Absolutely. Hey, look, my body's been trying to kill me for 5 years. In fact, in 5 days. 5 days till the 5th anniversary of my double heart attack. So yeah, for 4 years and 360 days, my body's been trying to kill me. Hasn't succeeded yet. I'm a bit of a fighter on that. So hopefully I'll be around for a little bit longer. But yeah, old aches, pains, and everything. The thing is, mentally, I don't feel 51. That's the problem. Only nobody told my friggin' body, And look, I have put it through the ringer over the years with smoking, drinking, naughty food, that sort of stuff. Never did the drugs. In fact, I am actually on the CBD THC regimen now to help combat the prostate cancer and alleviate some of the pain. And I'm actually consuming more THC and CBD now than I ever have in my life before, and I'm using it to help save my life. Bizarre, isn't it? All right. Good people, thank you for tuning in. Wow, we're up to 27 viewers. This is fantastic on the live stream. I don't know who's watching on Twitter, so hi Twitter people. Hello everybody on Twitch and everybody on YouTube. I just want to say thank you as always. I appreciate you guys coming in, guys, girls, theys, she's, he's. I very much appreciate you all coming in. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Have a good week. I will hopefully see you next week, as I am 1 week closer to the end of radiation, and my pee does not glow like God knows what, like some Chernobyl sludge. So yes, be back in a week. Who knows who Microsoft will buy next? Keep it cool. Be good to each other. I will see you later. Now I'm going to see if my button that I've the Steam Deck button that I've hotkeyed to end the broadcast. Let's see if it works, shall we? That is not working. Fuck it.